Hi everyone, Sabrina from Campbell's Freedom Farm. Okay, tomorrow is Halloween, and for us in Zone 6, that means it's time to put in your bulbs for the spring. Let's say the tulips or the daffodils, and we have other bulbs that we're going to discuss. But let's talk about when you know it's time to put in bulbs. We're Zone 6, and it's determined that the hard frost into the ground, where the ground freezes, is in roughly 4 to 6 weeks. But let's say if you're in Canada, that was a walnut, by the way, hitting my car. Or let's say you're in Georgia, where winter comes a long time. So I don't follow the rules on October as the time planting bulbs. When you have to go to the closet and pick your hoodie up or your sweater because the nights are, let's say, 40 constantly, that's when you put your bulbs in. So let me show you how to put the bulbs in. We could get a shovel or a hoe or a tulip thing to just squeeze in, but this implement that goes onto the screw gun, which I got for $2 brand new at Restore, is the best way. So all I do is go down. Okay, my hole's dug. Should I fertilize? Now that's a debate. It would be great to fertilize, and a lot of people used to use bone meal, but really with how they have treated bones and meat when they process it, there's very little phosphorus left in bone meal. So that's really not a great option anymore. So you could just buy a fertilizer that's high in phosphorus, but remember, phosphorus does not go into the ground so very well, if I said that properly. So if you're going to use it, sprinkle it into the hole where the roots are going to get it. Now, how deep should I plant this? Now, always read the package, but I'm transplanting mine. I'm moving them around. The size of the bulb, how tall it is, multiply that by 2 or 3 times. So I'm going to go roughly 6 inches and put it into the ground. Now, I'm not going to add anything to it because I have the belief when these bloom in the spring, don't cut the green parts even though they're annoying, because all the nutrients that it needs to grow and to flower the next year comes from that. So let them fall to the ground, let the sun hit them, and as they start drying, they'll basically make the great food for this. So all we're gonna do is just plop it in and cover it back up. Now let's debunk another myth. I can't do tulip bulbs, or I can't do whatever bulbs because I have moles. Moles do not eat any bulb, not at all. They're after one thing, and that's like the worms, the grub worms, everything else. Japanese beetle, they're great for that. They could damage your bulbs by tunneling and getting the air in there, just like to your plants. There's other things that love to eat your bulbs. But if you want to do something that nobody likes to eat, just do daffodils. They're out of the onion plant family, and it helps with groundhogs, which is my biggest deal, and everything else. Now also, when you get a bulb that's like this, separate it. Just pull it apart and put them this way. And do groups of, let's say, 3 when you plant them. That way it really looks great. Now, trivia. What is one of the oldest plants used to flavor foods? It's garlic. Now I'm putting a dirty hand in my pocket here. This is the same time that you want to plant your tulips or whatever, you plant garlic. Yep, it's a bulb also. So I don't go out and buy them. When I buy my cloves of garlic, all I do is I keep the end, break it up, and I take the tiny ones and I put these into the ground. Now, it's really important where you put these. Don't plant them where you're going to grow green beans or peas or anything else. They don't like each other. So go to a border where it really doesn't matter, but you're not going to pull them up as weeds. Let me show you. Now, when I plant garlic, I just do a different bit. By the way, 75 cents, Restore. I love that store. So just use this, and so this is going to go roughly about 2 to 3 inches. Now, when you plant garlic, remember there's 3 edible parts of a garlic. People don't realize that. One is the bulb. So we're going to put these in, and it's going to make one big head of bulb. 2, as the greens come up in the spring, those are great for seasoning. Treat them like chives, basically. They're great. And I do believe when you cut them all the time, all the energy goes into the bulb and you get a bigger bulb. And 3, the flowers. The flowers are great when they're ready to harvest. That's how you know they're ready to harvest. If you cut those and decorate or garnish your dishes, it's great. It's beautiful, it's tasty. So remember, 3 things you could eat off this. Now, 7,000 years ago, this plant that they used for seasoning, which the Egyptians started cultivating on a regular base around 4,000 or 5,000. They would grow these, they would use them medically and culinary. It's really interesting, the whole thing. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to dig a whole bunch of holes, and I'm just going to stick them in, and I'm going to forget about them. Now, the reason I put it around this border, 1, I know I'm not going to pull anything out here because I also have flower bulbs that come back every year. 2, I grow lettuce, as you can see in there. I let it reseed, and it keeps the bunnies away. So when you plant garlic, plant it where you want things not to go in to that area. If you're going to plant a whole bunch of flowers, do a whole border of garlic. But helpful hint from Sabrina from Campbell Freedom Farm, put your grubbies on and go get your bulbs. Please subscribe, like, and share.